Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Blackjack here for the Clean Finish podcast. It's at It's 21 Blackjack, at Need Clean Finish. Follow, follow the Twitter there. If you're here tonight, please like the podcast stream. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate that. If you guys did that. I know we started a little late tonight. Today's been pretty much the day from hell for me. I have not been able to get into my apartment for the past 2 hours, so I haven't really been able to start the stream or even prepare anything. I just kind of said, "Hey, fuck it, let's go live," and kind of figure it out from there. Today has been really crazy. Things have been very nuts. I just want to get through today and get it over with and go to sleep and get it as far behind me as possible. I have no clue where Wiza is. I can't answer that question. I would have thought that he would have at least started the stream by now and had gotten things going and done whatever, but he's not here. I'm not worried about it. I would have thought maybe he would have started without me, and that would have been fine. I would have had no issue with that. If he's not here, it's fine. He knows how to get in here. He knows what to do. So, jeez. Sorry, today's been rough. I need to pull up articles and kind of figure out where the fuck to even start, really. I guess a good place to start would be Raw, wouldn't it? And talk about the Raw from this past week. Let's see. When was this past Monday? When was it? January 25th. All right, let me pull up some notes here, just so some footnotes so I can kind of figure out where everything was, what happened, yada yada yada. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Full results for Raw, just so I can keep up to date here. Sorry, I sneezed, so bless me, I guess, since none of you guys can say it. Jeez. Great. Now I'm coming down with a sickness too, because I've been standing outside in the cold for like 2 hours. All right. I mean, the big thing to note from this past Raw was, and that's so weird. We're building towards WrestleMania and Roman Reigns and Triple H for the title. And the biggest thing to note is that The Rock showed up. How fucking bizarre is that, right? Makes no sort of sense. All right, so we had this Raw this past Friday. This past Monday. Oh, geez, sorry. I can't even talk right now. My computer's is not cooperating with me either. Okay, here we go. So the first thing that happened is that we had our normal 20-minute promo. I don't want to say it was boring this week, but they opened up and they talked about Stephanie and Vince came out and they pretty much talked all about Roman Reigns and shit all over them. They talked about, you thought Roman Reigns might win, or maybe I don't know if they mentioned Daniel Bryan, but they thought, maybe AJ Styles would win or Dean Ambrose would win, and all these other people. And they're pretty much making fun of the fans for buying into booking. And then Triple H came out. He pretty much came out and said, he praised Roman Reigns. He's like, hey, you're pretty good, but you disrespected me. I am God. And so he said, he views Vince McMahon as God. And, I don't need the title, but I want the title. So it's mine now. And there's nothing you can do about it. I will stop being champion when I decide I don't want to be. So Triple H pretty much. So afterwards, they said that the rest of the show was pretty much a showcase for all the other wrestlers on the roster to try to impress the Authority, and that at the end of the show, whoever impressed them would be chosen for the main event of Fastlane. and they would compete against each other to determine who would be the number one contender for the title to go against Triple H at WrestleMania for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So Triple H it seems like he's going to be in the main event of Mania this year. And yeah, pretty much the show was based off of this. So it gave you a reason to tune in. Just wait till we get to the fucking end. So afterwards, we had a few matches. I believe the show started off with Kevin Owens and Dolph Ziggler. Kevin Owens was still selling his injuries from the night before in the Last Man Standing match. And Ziggler got the advantage early on against Owens, but Owens pretty much capitalized later on in the match. Ended up hitting Dolph Ziggler with the pop-up powerbomb. 1, 2, 3. Kevin Owens wins. The only thing that disappointed me about Kevin Owens moving on the next day was that Sami Zayn eliminated him at the Royal Rumble, which should be a big moment. And you would think Sami Zayn would be there on the roster the next day to kind of, answer or talk about, what happened there. But nope, no Sami Zayn. Just here's Dolph Ziggler, kill him and get it over with. After that match, we had Flo Rida. I believe Flo Rida came out. Or actually, sorry, I should say the Social Outcast came out after that. And what's that boy's name with the red hair? Heath Slater. Heath Slater came and started jabbing a little bit out there. When he saw Flo Rida, he's like, last time you were here, you punched me, but we're gonna get you back. And he says, we're gonna have a freestyle and we're gonna battle. And he called out Bo Rida, Bo Dallas, who was sporting a brand new. It's ridiculous. They finally decided, hey, let's cover up that gut of his and let's get him in a singlet. He wears a white and blue singlet. And it actually doesn't look that bad on him. So Bo, he puts on a little like a cap that like Samuel L. Jackson or Sami Zayn would wear, a little beret, and starts going to work on Flo Rida. And he actually has some pretty good rhymes. And he outshined Flo Rida. Flo Rida, a rapper, or at least a proclaimed rapper, lost a rap battle against Bo Dallas, and Bo Dallas was pretty cheesy in his rap. It was really, really cheesy, but he still beat Flo Rida. So Flo Rida called out the Dudley Boys. Dudley Boys came out and beat the Social Outcast, but it didn't matter because they pretty much beat Flo Rida. So, fuck that guy. Afterwards, they had AJ Styles backstage with Renee Young. AJ Styles, I'd say they asked him about, coming out to Raw and telling the people a little bit more about him. Jericho interrupts and says, "Oh, AJ Styles, the phenomenal one. Oh man, I've been waiting for you to get here. I'm excited for our match and blah, 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 but I'm a veteran," and all that bullshit. The one thing that I don't like about this is that AJ Styles, they've been selling him as the hottest free agent, and yet here they kind of down talk him as if he's a rookie. Even on commentary, they were selling him that way, as if he was some sort of rookie that's like, because WWE is the quote unquote big leagues, whatever. So they had a match. Chris Jericho was in control of more of this match than he should have been. I think in AJ Styles' first match, it's important for him to get off as much offense as he can so that you can showcase his abilities and showcase why he's a big deal. Why is he the hottest free agent instead of trying to teach a veteran to rookie lesson? You treat this more like this is Kevin Owens' debut against John Cena, where you have him win and beat him clean rather than kind of be like, hey, Rook, take your chops. AJ, I mean, they had a good sequence at the end where AJ ended up winning by roll-up, but that wasn't a strong finish to me. I was not a fan of them finishing the AJ Styles and Chris Jericho match by having him roll up Chris Jericho. I thought that was a terrible way to debut AJ Styles. You want to debut your hot free agent strong. Have him beat a guy with the Styles clash. I know, but they did this whole thing where it's like, oh, they're teasing it, like, oh, you got to wait. They're going to build it up. Maybe they'll do it at Mania. And I'm like, that's stupid. You need to display why this guy is a big deal. Let him hit his finish in front of this hot crowd in Miami that wants to see him out there and wants to see him hit it. Don't save this. You need to establish AJ Styles, because right now all you're doing with AJ Styles is you're relying on everything that came before that, everything that he did to make himself a free agent. But in WWE, you need to actually establish him and back up the reason that he was highly regarded and was a hot free agent coming in. You can't just have his previous background kind of, have that carry him along the way. And sure enough, all that build or whatever, they had him hit the Styles Clash on Curtis Axel later tonight. So unless he starts beating people with the calf killer or or whatever, they've got to stop teasing the Styles Clash. I think at some point you just need to go full throttle with this thing and just beat people with it flat out. So afterwards, we had I'm trying to think what match came after. I think this was Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch right afterwards. And then, there's nothing to really talk about with the match. I think Sasha was getting ready to win, and Charlotte came in and kicked Sasha Banks so that she could get the DQ win. And Charlotte just ran in and beat up on Sasha and Becky, and lifted up her title to say, I'm the champion. I guess what they're doing here is that they're going to do I thought it was just going to be Sasha and Charlotte going in the fast lane, but it may end up being a triple threat match is what it seems like they're building towards. And it may end up being that Becky Lynch just eats the pin here so that you keep Sasha undefeated, or at least unpinned and unsubmitted going into WrestleMania to go up against Charlotte. But yeah, I see Becky Lynch eating the pin here. But yeah, it seems like that's what they're building towards. We'll see what they do moving forward. It's interesting, the Becky Lynch and Charlotte storyline. I'm just wondering how they carry it moving forward from there. So afterwards, we had I think we had Bray Wyatt versus Kane. I don't know what they're doing with Bray right now. If the big idea is that they're going to do a feud with Brock Lesnar and the Wyatts, you don't put him with Kane. My God, you do not put him with Kane. I understand that Kane and The Undertaker just cleaned house with cleaned all four of them out, but Jesus Christ, just don't put him with Kane. Yeah. I didn't care about this match, honestly. The crowd was actually chanting for, and The Rock pointed them out later. There were three guys in the front row dressed up as Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, and I can't remember what the third guy was dressed. There was one guy dressed up as The Rock, but I feel like there was another guy there too, dressed up as something else. It's slipping me right now what it was, but anyway, Bray Wyatt ends up winning. But honestly, who could care? Who could care? Look. I'm not putting any investment behind the Wyatts. They have to do more with them for me to care, but yeah, no. Afterwards, I think we got Paige and Natalya. Oh, no. This is when The Rock came out, actually. So The Rock comes out. I'm not going to talk a lot about this because the promo itself didn't really do anything. It was just kind of like, oh, here's The Rock, and he's doing his big spiel. It's kind of like a late night segment where they, this is filming, the camera's following him the whole way, and he just goes out and does whatever he wants. And all I could think of the whole time is that if they let anybody on the main roster do this, people would get over more. But it's like, it's The Rock. He can just kind of do whatever he wants, and he just does whatever he wants. The only real issues that I have with this promo, the segment with Lana and Rusev, I understand that, The Rock's character is that he's a bit of a misogynist. A lot of the 90s and early 2000 characters were like that. They were. And I understand that. The only thing that I have an issue with is that the WWE have actively kind of, I don't want to say make an example of, but they've been constantly bullying Lana on the whole engagement thing. And the engagement leaking to TMZ and all that good stuff. It wasn't a good idea to have The Rock and have Lana do this with that looming overhead. You know what I mean? Like if the engagement thing weren't a thing and there were like an actual like marriage or all that stuff in the middle of all this, I would have no problem with this. But considering that the WWE have heat on this and they're actively making, like kind of like actively making fun of it, not a huge fan. And so he's backstage and he's like doing his little jab with the Big Show, where he's just like, oh hey, if you won that Royal Rumble, you would have guest star, you would have starred in the Scorpion King, but I won. I got the star in the Scorpion King. I'm a big Hollywood star, and Big Show cried and whatnot. And then The Rock came out stage and he jabbed with the New Day. And he brought out the Usos afterwards because he talked about how, family's so important, and he repped the U and all that good stuff. It was a fun and entertaining promo, but at the end of the day, I was like, well, what did this really do? And it was so entertaining, but it took so much time that by the time we got to the rest of the show, I was just like, I don't really care what else happens now. The Rock was just here. What else is there to really care about? And it didn't help that the next match after that was Paige and Natalya versus Brie Bella and Alicia Fox. I could not care. It's bad enough that it's a total divas match, so that's reason number one to not care. And then number two, The Rock just came before this. You can't follow that. You can't. I can't tell you who won this match. I want to say it was Paige and Natalya, but I couldn't care. Afterwards, they had Kalisto versus The Miz. The big thing to note here was the finish, where it was a good back and forth here. And The Miz went for the skull-crushing finale towards the end, and Kalisto pushed against the ropes. It was a little sloppy, but he got it done. He hit the Salito del Sol, countering the skull-crushing finale, and got the win. And as long as they keep building Kalisto and getting him wins with the U.S. title, hey, maybe they can do something with this. They're not going to push it like they did with John Cena there, but you know what? Let's give it a shot. So then we have the main event. It was Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose tag teaming with Sheamus and Rusev. Reigns ended up hitting a spear for the victory, and then on Sheamus. And then afterwards, they put Rusev through a table. And the Authority came out afterwards. And remember, the whole thing was that you had to impress the Authority. And if you impress the Authority, you'd be in the number one contenders match. Now, the Authority hated Roman Reigns, and they actively did their best to make sure Roman Reigns to take that belt off of Roman Reigns. So you think, yeah, they wouldn't want Roman Reigns to have the title again. And then they immediately, right after the Royal Rumble, named a three-way for the Fastlane match to determine the number one contender. Dean Ambrose, a guy that they should hate and have hated in the past. Roman Reigns, a guy that they worked so hard to get the title off of, and yet here they are giving him another shot. I've been saying this forever. All the Authority does is just give this guy title opportunities. And Brock Lesnar, a guy who wasn't even on the program tonight. I don't even get it. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't understand what they're doing. I don't understand how they expect us to get behind anybody, why they expect us to care when they do things like this. Roman Reigns, they named as a number one contender when they've actively worked so hard to try to get the belt off of him. They really do not want to get this guy over. They don't. If you want to make him your top face, there needs to be a reason why we have to be sympathetic towards him. They've already messed that up. They already have. There's no reason to get behind him. Zero. They keep giving him opportunity after opportunity. And no one's going to care because they don't offer any reason for why. they should, why should they should get behind? And it's frustrating. It's so frustrating to me. And then there's talk of turning Dean heel. And while I would like a heel Dean, they're getting ready to go into a pay-per-view in which Dean Ambrose is going to be in his home state and nobody boos Brock Lesnar. So who the fuck is going to get behind Roman Reigns, I don't know. This company, man. This company makes 0 sense. 0 cents. I don't get it with these guys. I honestly, I really don't. It is so frustrating. Listen, it's not like I want Roman Reigns to not succeed. I want him to. I want him to make the company millions of dollars if he could. Millions of dollars and millions of dollars. But they do everything in their being to make sure that you don't ever like this guy. And it's to such a point that I'm just like, turn this fucker heel. Just do it. Turn him heel. You're going to have a much better time having him be heel for a while and letting him try to get over that way. Sorry, not get over, but have him work as a heel and then turn him face afterwards. Like you did with John Cena, The Rock, Stone Cold, your big stars. They all started out as heels in their singles run first, and then they got over as faces. You have a better time doing that than trying to do what you're doing here with Roman Reigns. I will never understand why they can't figure it out with this guy. It is beyond me. Beyond me. All right, let me take a quick moment here. There's 144 people in here. I want to thank you so much for coming out tonight and supporting the podcast, supporting me as well. Like I said, if you haven't already, follow the Twitter at NeatQueenFinish. If you haven't subscribe, like up the video, let people know that, hey, this is the place to go if you want to hear some wrestling talk on a nice Thursday afternoon. Once again, I apologize if this is kind of last minute and I'm throwing things together here. Again, I got locked out of my apartment, and this is just where we're at. I don't know where Wise is. I don't know. Listen, at this point, you got to ask him. That's my best answer to you guys. Let's jump into NXT, and then we'll do some news afterwards. I want to get this done by 10 o'clock. I would normally take questions and do things after here, but I got to get to work in the morning. I want to get some sort of sleep and some sort of rest. So I'm kind of going through this as quickly as I can here. Let's go ahead and jump into NXT. The show starts off and we go straight into a match. It's American Alpha, which is Jason Jordan and Chad Gable, their new names, against Blake and Murphy. I actually really like this match. And my favorite part about it is that Jason Jordan and Chad Gable are really good at wrestling. They have an amateur wrestling background. So Jason Jordan starts off the match and he has control the whole way through. The whole way through until he tags in Gable. They try to double team Gable. They do everything they possibly can to try to stop the guy's momentum or try to get him off balance. And they can't because Chad Gable is a really good wrestler. He's really good at this wrestling thing. So because the heels can't do anything to topple these valiant, great baby faces, they resort to very underhanded tactics to get an advantage here. So Blake, all of a sudden, because he flew in the air, decided to sell a knee injury as if he I tweaked my knee in the corner. And he did a very good sell of it. And it did enough for Chad Gable to let his guard down for 1 second and be interfered with by Blake on the outside, that Murphy then came in and got a cheap shot on Gable, went low at his knee, and then began to work it over from there. I like that. I like that the heel can't out wrestle the babyface, so they have to resort to being dirty in order to get over. It's better than just on Raw, where it's like every other tag team match you've ever seen, where it's just like, all right, it's the heel's turn to work over, and they're going to work you for 10 minutes until we get to the hot tag. No, the heels had to earn it here. So I really, really like that. And I specifically remember that. So yeah, after the chop block, the heels go ahead and get their work in. They get the hot tag in, and Jason Jordan is just destroying everything. Belly to belly suplexes, release suplexes everywhere. At one point, he actually threw Blake into Murphy. He tagged in Gable. They hit their move. I don't know what it's called. He tosses. Jordan tosses. I want to call it the alley oop because that's what it looks like. Jordan tosses him in the air. Gable catches him and suplexes him, and that's it. So it seems like they're building up American Alpha as contenders for the title next for whenever they do the show for Mania. Then afterwards, Emma and Dana Brooke were backstage. They talked about the loss. Emma talked about the loss that she had tagging with Alexa Bliss, and they said that Dana Brooke went and said that, hey, I've beaten Carmella, I think Emma's beaten Carmella. Dana Brooke technically has beaten Bayley. Technically, she has done that. And that Carmella lost the blue pants. These are very valid points. I like that. This is the one thing I love about NXT. The wrestlers remember things. They really do. And they do a good job of selling it. So Brooke said that when Dana Brooke said that when Carmella faces Emma next week, she'll be the unluckiest chick in the ring. She went and patted the new reporter. I don't know what his name is, and she doesn't know either. That's actually your gimmick, is that she calls him what's his name? Tom or Adam or something like that. I can't remember. Goes, taps him on the head, leaves. So then they show a package of Sami Zayn showing up at the Royal Rumble, and then they do a package highlighting Asuka as well afterwards. And then we had the next match, which was Nia Jax versus Liv Morgan. Nia Jax being accompanied by Eva Marie in some sort of hot red dress. Eva Marie looks great. She does. If only she could fucking wrestle. Oh, man. It's kind of amazing that that's where all of her heat comes off from. And they're trying to obviously give Nia Jax the rub here. I know that they're trying to build Nia Jax back up after the loss from Bayley, but it's really strange. Like, after that loss happened, I'm just kind of like, I'm not really feeling Nia Jax anymore. I know, hey, she just lost to the champion, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal, but I mean, she just destroyed Liv Morgan, you know? It's like, all right, big deal. You squashed Liv. Now we need to see some credibility. Beat a better opponent, you know? But you know, I think that's something that NXT is going to fix over time with her. You know, we'll see where it goes. Afterwards, we had the promo backstage with Carmella and Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy. Carmella pretty much promised that she was going to beat Emma, and Enzo and Cass had a very, very, very serious promo with talking about Dash and Dawson. You know, I do like that Enzo and Cass are being serious. I do like it. And Enzo cut a great serious promo. He looks like he could actually be a serious he could be multiple characters if he ever got up to the main roster. He's very, very good. There's a part of me that does miss the goofy side of them, you know? I don't mind that they're serious, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, you being serious doesn't negate the fact that Dash and Dawson have beaten you twice clean, and you're mad at them, and I don't understand why. I don't know. So afterwards, they then did a package for Baron Corbin, hyping the night's main event for the number one contendership. They did another package for the Vaudevillains. Just waiting for them to finally have a match so that we can see the new and improved heelish Vaudevillains. After all, their name is the Vaudevillains. They should be heel. Then Bull Dempsey came out, and returning is Alex Riley of all people. Yeah, I could not care about Alex Riley. I can't. This man complained about AJ Styles last night. He was like, "What? That's it?" or something like that on Twitter. And I can't remember what account did it. It may have been Deft All Marks, who essentially just put Alex Riley's career next to AJ Styles' career, and it's laughable. So Alex Riley talks about how NXT covers guys like, this is after the match. So Alex Riley gets the win over Bull Dempsey. He hits I can't remember what its finish is now. It's like a neck breaker or something. Who could care? So afterwards, Alex Riley talks about how NXT covers guys like Sami Zayn and Apollo Crews, and they never talked about Alex Riley when he was rehabbing, and he does have a point. When Hideo Itami was rehabbing, they talked about him. Sami Zayn was rehabbing, they talked about him. They did promo packages for him. They didn't do any promo packages for Alex Riley. So he does have a point, even though nobody wants to see Alex Riley. After that, they had another match with the Drifter, Elias Sampson. They had him work against John Skyler. I don't know what they're doing here, because here's the thing with commentary. I like that Corey Graves is a very realistic commentator that's a heel. He does play a heel role, and he tries to support the heels, but he acknowledges wrestlers that are great. So he'll go ahead and give the nod to American Alpha, but then when he sees something like what Blake and Murphy did to Cheat, he'll congratulate them like, yes, that's what you should do. These guys are really good. You have to do that in order to beat them. It's very smart, and I like it. But I don't like that he's not selling Elias Sampson, because as a heel, he should be. It shouldn't just be like, well, I don't know anything about him. Or, Corey Graves almost doesn't like the guy. But then Tom Phillips doesn't like him either. So I'm like, how am I supposed to feel about him? I mean, the crowd who can't even hear commentary doesn't know how to feel about him either. I know that they don't like him because his gimmick sucks, but I don't know. Then we had the Hype Bros backstage, Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder. They cut this long promo that after a while was just like, I need this to end. They're going to be taking on the Vaudevillains next week. So we'll see the new and improved heel Vaudevillains against the Hype Bros. And then afterwards we had our main event. Afterwards we had the promotion for Finn Balor and Apollo Crews, who are going to have their rematch next week. And then it was the main event. Sami Zayn, Baron Corbin, Samoa Joe. Overall, this was a great match. And what I like about this triple threat is that it's not like WWE's normal triple threats where it's like one guy, hey, you go to the outside and you sit there and sell for 10 minutes or 5 minutes or however long and just sit out there forever. And then when it's your turn to come in, one of us will sell. So it's only two people in the ring at the same time. No, all three people were involved at points. And whenever somebody got knocked out, it legitimately was like, hey, they're not going to be in the ring for a while because they're selling. And it was done so well that when Samoa Joe hit the or put Sami Zayn in the Coquina clutch, it became a big deal. It was very important. Overall, yeah, it was a very, very great, nice, fun match. By the time they got to the end, basically what happened is that they had Sami Zayn had Baron Corbin in the ring. He went for a sharpshooter and had him in it. And while he had him in the sharpshooter, Samoa Joe came in, ran in, and put him in a crossface. And Baron Corbin was forced to tap out because both guys were putting a submission hold on him. And Samoa Joe cheered, and Sami Zayn cheered, and then there was a bit of a kerfuffle, and they were trying to figure out what was going on. They went to an instant replay, and they didn't know what to do. Both Sami Zayn and Samoa Joe were looking like, hey, no, I won. You need to raise my hand. And William Regal came out and said they're going to review the tape, and then they're going to make a decision. So we got technically no finish tonight. No finish for the main event. I have a feeling I know what's coming. They're going to do a rematch between Sami Zayn and Samoa Joe. I have to imagine. I can't think that they're going to rule in favor of somebody because that's what William Regal does. He calls it down the line. But yeah, there you go. Overall, I thought it was a pretty good show, pretty fun. Really fun to watch overall. Great show. I wish they would do a little bit more Baron Corbin. I kind of wish that he weren't put in a position where he had to tap out. But I mean, if it's gonna be two guys making him tap out, I'm okay with it. Let's get into some news, shall we? Let me go ahead and look at the chat now. I apologize. I'm kind of quickly going through this, but let me look at the chat and kind of see what you guys are asking or want to see. SmackDown's still going on right now. I know that they hit the Styles Clash on Curtis Axel, but let me see what's here. Yes, the AJ Styles theme was dropped on iTunes, so it's phenomenal by the CFO. So yes, if you really want to go, get it, go see it. Yes, it has been leaked on the Twitter, so I can say this. It is not a spoiler. They spoiled it already. Nakamura will be at the Texas Takeover show. He will have his match against Sami Zayn. Bo Dallas was in an interview with Alabama.com and said that it's a dream to work with Bray Wyatt, his brother, and maybe become tag team champions. I mean, for Bo at this point, he would like any fucking title he can get his hands on. So I don't blame him. But yeah, that was something that was talked about. They talked about TNA contracts this week and how things are getting changed up a little bit. I think how they're working them is that they're booking them. Sorry, they're paying them at a flat rate but allowing them to work indie shows, which is pretty good. It's just a shame that there's no incentive for working the indie shows. It's just like, hey, here's your base pay and go do whatever you want. Lana and Rusev have been in this whole discussion for a while now about like having heat on them or whatever. Yes, Jeff Hardy did resign. And NXT Dallas Takeover, by the way, it does look pretty fucking great. If you don't know what the card is already, go ahead and check it out on the website. I think it's like Nakamura and it's Nakamura Zayn. You know what? I won't spoil it here because if you want to keep in kayfabe and not know what the card is, then yeah, I won't spoil it for you guys. That's the only one I will spoil though because they did announce that one. Sheamus actually did send a photo a while ago with him in a hand cast. I don't know what was going on with that, but apparently he got drunk or whatever on his birthday, and then bam, hand got fucked up. Let's see. Lucha Underground season 2 did begin last Tuesday. I have not gotten a chance to watch the first episode, so I got to catch up on it at some point. I will watch it. But I haven't got a chance to really see it yet. Ring of Honor did end up re-signing Jay Lethal and Red Dragon today. I did see that. Hideo Itami has been set back due to injury. Due to his injury, there's been complications with his shoulder. So, yeah, it seems like he may be out a little bit longer than expected. They expected him to be back by now. I don't know. Maybe he'll be back in time for Mania. Maybe he won't be back until afterwards. I have no idea. What does one have to do to impress the Authority? I have no idea. What part of NC am I from? I'm not from any part of NC. I'm from New Jersey, but I live in Raleigh. There is a story breaking that reportedly the decision of Daniel Bryan coming back is in Vince's hands. So it's pretty much Vince's decision on whether or not he wants to come back or not. Whether it's for a health reason or not. I talked about this in the I saw the news on Kate's side, and I discussed it in the comments, and I really do believe this, that Vince doesn't really care about Daniel Bryan, and that Daniel Bryan was just a way for them to kind of capitalize. It's not really a, hey, I see Vince as like this bad guy or whatever, but that's how they treated him. Remember, with Daniel Bryan, and the guy that I talked to mentioned, hey, Vince, it's not like Vince didn't try with the guy. He gave him all these belts, and he gave him opportunities and everything like that. And I'm like, they really didn't. I mean, they gave him money in the bank, but they had no clear plan with that. And when he did win the belt, he was just a transitional champion for whoever was going to beat him at Mania. That was it. And he got squashed by Sheamus in 18 seconds. That was his Mania moment. All three of his title defenses were thrown out because either, Big Show went and ran over AJ, or he would call all the Lumberjacks into a match and have them attack Mark Henry so the match would get thrown out. They never had a plan for Daniel Bryan. When he won the title off of Cena, he was a transitional champ for Orton. Remember, he wasn't supposed to be in the main event of WrestleMania. He wasn't. So yeah, it's I can understand where people are coming from, where it's just like, hey, there's a business side of it too, but let's not kid ourselves here. This is the same guy who took Get Well Chance for Daniel Bryan and used him to promote the network. All I'm saying. What else is pretty big tonight? I'm trying to think. Austin Aries. I don't know if we covered this last week, but Austin Aries is in NXT. He's got merch, so that means he's signed. He is signed. He is a part of WWE now in NXT. Let's see, what else do we have here? Naomi apparently is not injured, or maybe she was in. She said it was like a personal reason why she, wasn't able to work or whatever. Who cares? Apparently, she said she will be back next week. So good news there. The rumor working around right now is that Samoa Joe may be called up to the main roster after Mania. So, hey, look, the night after Raw, maybe a good time to tune in. Maybe a very good time. Samoa Joe is a great heel down there in NXT, and WWE is in desperate need of great heels. I would be a huge fan if Samoa Joe did come out. Sorry, looking at some more stories here. I'm scrolling through right now. If you haven't seen the video yet on the WWE YouTube channel, Ambrose does talk about going up against Lesnar. And in this video, even though Ambrose kind of says, hey, look, I'll get suplexed and I'll get suplexed, but I'm going to wear down Brock Lesnar. I'm going to make sure he's tired. I'm going to make sure all those years in MMA just catch up to him and everything. He has been more believable as an opponent just from his words than Roman Reigns is. And Roman Reigns is a guy that looked like he could have beaten Brock Lesnar. Very, very weird. What if they put Andre in him in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal? I would like for them to actually use this today because they're going to be in Texas, to just let Mark Henry win, which I think might be a plan of theirs. I'm not sure, but that's what I would like for them to do. Nikki Bella neck surgery. John Cena was there holding her hand. Blah. Nikki Bella and John Cena stuff. Blech. But yeah, I do hope that Nikki gets better, despite all my heat for her and how much I do not care for her. I do hope she gets better, because somebody's health has nothing to do with how I feel about them as, a wrestler or a performer or a person. I do want Nikki Bella for her health to get better. No Bullet Club news that I know of. I do love Kenny Omega though. I would love to give a 5-minute segment to Kenny Omega if I could. Dude, Kenny Omega is the fucking best, man. The clean, him in this cleaner role, it's the best thing ever. Love him. Apparently, Paige and Lana are best friends now. They're talking to each other again after the whole thing that they had a week ago. Sorry, in a few months ago, where Lana said that Paige was a bully. Jericho, The Rock, and Nikki Bella were on Sports Center, as well as Lucha Underground. Lucha Underground actually had a segment. They had a segment on Sports Center, and Johnny Mundo, Rey Mysterio, and Jesus Christ, I can't remember the third guy who was there. They were all there, and they got a nice spot. So I actually like that Lucha Underground was able to get on Sports Center and promote their show. They had their own guys there too, to, pipe in some cheers for all their guys. So I like that. And they actually were challenging Neil Everett and Stan Barrett to fight them and whatnot. So it was pretty fun. I liked it. I thought Prince Puma would have been there, but no, he wasn't, which is fine. We always complain all the time that John Cena is everywhere. Well, Prince Puma should be their main star, and he wasn't there. And I was actually fine with that. I was. About I think it was yesterday on January 27th is the 2-year anniversary of when CM Punk walked out of the WWE. Pretty crazy. That's 2 years from now, is when that happened. By the way, if you are not following Rusev's tweets are hilarious. He held a Q&A with the hashtag milk is for babies. Seriously, take the time out of your day right now to go and read his tweets. Rusev is the best thing. He's really great. And I know this whole Lana thing has been over his head for a while, but you know what? Rusev is the best. He really is. Go read his Twitter. His Twitter is hilarious. And that I think is pretty much it, honestly. I don't think I have anything else to talk about. I would go and do the what wrestlers look like, but I've really got to get going. If I were here at 8:00, I would have done it. Let's save it for next week. Hopefully nothing stupid goes on, but oh yes, Rusev is the TV champion. He is the TV champion because he took a monitor after he beat down Roman Reigns. He took a monitor backstage with them, and he is now the television champion. Get over it. So yes, we'll go ahead. We'll do it for next week. I apologize again to you guys, but I'm glad that I was at least able to make it out here. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for all 140 of you that came out to watch. We'll try this again next week, 8:00. As long as I don't get locked out of my damn apartment. I thank you guys again so much. Have a great weekend. I'll see you Thursday.